It often starts quietly. You reach for a glass of water and notice your grip doesn't feel as strong. You get out of bed and your legs feel heavier than they used to. You climb the stairs and pause halfway. Not from breathlessness, but from a fatigue that feels deeper, unfamiliar, and unsettling. You chalk it up to aging. Another day, another sign that your body is simply slowing down. But what if I told you that this wasn't aging at all? What if I told you that hidden in plain sight, in your kitchen, your breakfast, maybe even in the snack you trust as healthy, is one single food that's quietly draining your strength? A food so common it's likely in your pantry right now. And yet, according to an increasing body of clinical research, it's been shown to trigger chronic inflammation, accelerate muscle loss, weaken your bones, and impair your energy systems. For seniors over 60, this is no small threat, because after 60, strength isn't just about muscles. It's about independence, about staying on your feet, about walking into a room with confidence and walking out with dignity. We need to talk about sugar. Not just the sugar you sprinkle into coffee, but the hidden, refined, processed sugar that sneaks into your yogurt, your bread, your cereal, your so-called healthy energy bar. The sugar that disguises itself with dozens of names: high fructose corn syrup, cane juice, maltodextrin, but wreaks the same kind of havoc inside the body, especially a senior's body. The CDC estimates that the average American consumes over 17 teaspoons of added sugar per day. That's more than triple the recommended limit for women and nearly double for men. But here's where it gets more serious. Studies published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society show that in adults over 60, excessive sugar intake correlates with faster loss of muscle mass, reduced grip strength, and decreased mobility. Why? Because sugar triggers something called glycation, a process where sugar molecules bind to proteins and fats in your body, forming what scientists call advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs literally age you from the inside out. They stiffen tissues, they damage collagen, they trigger inflammation in joints, in blood vessels, even in the brain. And here's where it hits hardest: your muscles. The very thing that keeps you standing tall. You see, muscle isn't just about lifting, it's your metabolic engine. It's what protects your bones from fractures, your heart from strain, your brain from cognitive decline. Muscle loss, known medically as sarcopenia, doesn't just affect how you move, it affects how you live. And sugar accelerates that loss, meal by meal, bite by bite, without you even realizing it. Take the story of Charles, a 73-year-old retired bus driver. For years, he thought he was eating healthy: a granola bar with his coffee in the morning, low-fat fruit yogurt at lunch, a glass of juice with dinner. "I don't eat candy," he used to say proudly. But when his doctor told him he had prediabetes and his legs started cramping after short walks, he came to one of our workshops. We looked at his diet together, and when we calculated the added sugars hiding in those seemingly innocent foods, it added up to over 90 grams a day. That's the equivalent of 22 teaspoons. It wasn't until he removed the processed sugar and replaced it with whole foods, berries instead of juice, oats instead of flavored cereal, plain yogurt with cinnamon instead of sugar-laced fruit blends, that the change began. Within 3 weeks, his energy lifted, his leg cramps faded. He told us, "I feel like I got 5 years of my life back." And Charles isn't the exception. He's the rule. Because when you stop feeding your body, the thing that's slowly breaking it down, it starts to rebuild. It remembers how to repair. Here's what the science shows. When seniors reduce sugar intake, markers of inflammation drop. C-reactive protein, a key blood marker for systemic inflammation, lowers within days. Insulin sensitivity improves, and that allows your cells to actually absorb the nutrients you're eating, protein, magnesium, vitamin D, instead of storing them as fat or flushing them unused. But we're not just talking about inflammation. We're talking about mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses in every cell that create energy. Research out of the University of Copenhagen found that excess sugar damages mitochondrial function in older adults, meaning less cellular energy, more fatigue, slower healing. And when your cells can't make energy efficiently, your entire body feels like it's running uphill all day long. So, if you've ever thought, "Why am I so tired? Why do my muscles ache? Why do I feel weak even though I'm not doing anything strenuous? This could be the reason. And here's something else most people never hear. Sugar is addictive by design. MRI studies from the National Institutes of Health show that sugar lights up the same reward centers in the brain as cocaine. That means the more you eat it, the more your brain craves it. And the less you eat, the more withdrawal you feel, until the cycle is broken. That's not your fault. That's biology. That's industry. That's decades of marketing designed to keep you hooked. But there's a way out. And it starts not with restriction, but with awareness. The awareness that every spoonful of sugar you reduce is a signal to your body. We're done breaking down. We're ready to rebuild. Tomorrow morning, instead of reaching for toast and jam, try eggs and sautéed spinach. Instead of cereal, try steel-cut oats with chia seeds and cinnamon. Instead of fruit juice, drink water with lemon. And if you're craving something sweet, have a small bowl of blueberries, nature's candy, loaded with antioxidants that actually protect your brain and blood vessels. Because what you eat in the first hours of your day sets your metabolic tone. It's like a message to your body. If you start with sugar, you spike insulin, increase cravings, and lock yourself into an energy crash by mid-morning. But if you start with protein, fiber, and fat, you stabilize blood sugar. You extend energy. You protect your muscles. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. One choice leads to strength. The other leads to struggle. And if you've already been feeling the effects, the aches, the dips in stamina, the frustration of doing everything right and still feeling off, then this message is especially for you, because your body is talking to you. And it's not saying give up, it's saying help me. And help begins with a simple question. What's really in your food? So go look, read your labels, scan your ingredients, watch for anything ending in no, say glucose, fructose, sucrose, watch for syrups, for juices, for anything that sounds more like chemistry than food. Because the enemy isn't age, it's the choices that steal your strength without your permission. And once you remove them, even just one at a time, something extraordinary begins to happen. When we talk about feeling weak after 60, we often chalk it up to age. But what if the slow fade wasn't your age at all? What if it was a chemical message hidden inside something you eat nearly every morning? That soft piece of white toast, that sweet muffin, that innocent-looking breakfast cereal. Behind the packaging and the marketing lies one of the most misunderstood substances sabotaging strength in older adults: refined sugar. Now, before you roll your eyes or think, I don't eat that much sugar, let me share something with you that even many doctors still underemphasize. Sugar isn't just in desserts. It's in bread, pasta, sauces, yogurts, even so-called healthy protein bars. And the problem isn't just calories or weight gain. It's what sugar does once it's in your bloodstream, especially after 60. Here's what the science tells us. As we age, the cells in our muscles become less sensitive to insulin. That's a natural part of aging. But when we consume refined sugars, it spikes insulin fast, and the body, trying to compensate, pumps out even more. Over time, this repeated spike crash cycle leads to insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is a direct hit to your muscle cells' ability to absorb amino acids, the very building blocks of strength. So, while you may be eating enough protein, your muscles can't use it properly. You're feeding them, but they're starving. And slowly, silently, they begin to shrink. It's a condition called sarcopenia, and it affects nearly 1 in 3 seniors over 60. But most don't even know it's happening until one day. They fall trying to climb stairs, or they notice they can't open a jar, or they're too exhausted to take their evening walk. Now, here's where it gets even more alarming. A study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that high blood sugar levels, even in non-diabetics, were associated with significantly lower muscle mass and grip strength in older adults. In another study from Tufts University, researchers found that older adults with higher dietary sugar intake had a 30% higher risk of impaired physical performance, especially walking speed, balance, and mobility. But what does this actually feel like in real life? Let me tell you about Nora. She's 71, a retired florist. Lived alone in a small cottage with ivy on the windows. Nora wasn't sick, she wasn't overweight, but she was tired all the time. Her legs felt heavy walking to the mailbox, her hands cramped while clipping flowers. Her doctor said her labs were normal, but she knew something wasn't right. When she came to one of our workshops, we asked her what she ate in the morning. Her answer? Just toast, some jam, and orange juice. I thought that was light and healthy. That simple breakfast, which she'd had for over 20 years, was flooding her system with sugar, nearly 40 grams before 9 a.m. We changed just one thing. Swapped the toast and jam for a veggie omelet with avocado. Swapped the juice for water with lemon. Within 10 days, her energy shifted. Her legs didn't ache after walks. She started gardening again, kneeling down without pain. She wasn't doing more. She was doing less, but smarter. Now think about this. If something as simple as changing breakfast could give Nora her energy back, what could it do for you? This isn't about cutting out joy. It's about cutting out sabotage. It's about understanding that sugar, especially refined and hidden in everyday foods, can rob you of your strength long before you see it on a scale or a lab result. It breaks down collagen. It inflames your joints. It starves your muscles. And worst of all, it keeps you in a cycle of highs and crashes that feels like aging, but isn't. There's another side to sugar we don't talk about enough, and that's how it affects your nerves. Sugar binds to proteins and creates something called advanced glycation end products, AGEs for short. These AGEs accumulate in your nerves and muscles, stiffening them, dulling their communication, making it harder to feel strong, agile, even balanced. That's why seniors with high sugar diets often report tingling in their feet, restless legs at night, or sudden cramping. It's not just dehydration, it's damage. Now let's go deeper. If sugar is this harmful, why is it everywhere? Because it's addictive. Research from Princeton and Yale has shown that sugar lights up the same areas of the brain as cocaine. It creates a dopamine surge, followed by a crash. And that crash, it's not just emotional. It affects your hormones, especially cortisol, and elevated cortisol breaks down muscle tissue. It's a cruel loop. You eat sugar, you crash, you feel tired. So you eat more, and your body, aging and trying to protect you, starts shutting down instead of rising up. But here's the truth most people miss. It's not too late. Your body, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, is still listening, still repairing, still responding, but it needs the right input. Start with your plate. Start with your morning. If you're used to cereal, try oatmeal topped with walnuts and blueberries. If you love toast, try a slice of sprouted grain bread with almond butter and cinnamon. If you crave something sweet, try a small piece of dark chocolate, 85% or higher, with green tea. These aren't restrictions. These are upgrades. Now, let's circle back to weakness, because weakness isn't just physical, it's emotional too. It's looking in the mirror and not recognizing your reflection. It's feeling invisible in a world that moves too fast. It's believing that decline is destiny. But I want you to challenge that, right now. Because the real enemy isn't your age. It's this one common food, refined sugar, silently stealing your strength, your energy, your confidence. And the moment you remove it, even partially, the light begins to return. I've seen 82-year-olds regain balance they hadn't had in years. I've seen 67-year-olds lift their grandkids again. I've seen people in their 70s write novels, hike mountains, rekindle romance, all because their body wasn't dragging them down anymore. And it all began with one quiet decision in the morning. This is about power and reclaiming it. Because when you feel strong in your legs, clear in your mind, and stable in your balance, something incredible happens. You stop living in fear. You start living forward. That's what we're here for. That's what's waiting for you. Just one breakfast away. So now, take a moment. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and choosing to begin again, not with guilt, but with clarity. Because in the final part of this journey, we're going to bring it all together. We'll talk about how to rebuild strength from the inside out, not just by avoiding what harms you, but by embracing what heals. The future isn't behind you. It's right here, right now. And it starts with what you no longer allow on your plate. What we remove from our lives matters just as much as what we bring in. And now that we've peeled back the curtain on sugar, this common saboteur that's been weakening the senior body in silence, the question becomes, how do we rebuild what it quietly stole? You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You need to begin where strength begins, at the root. And for every day you've been fed the lie that decline is inevitable, I'm here to remind you, healing is too. But healing takes participation. it takes intention, and it starts with your plate. Removing refined sugar is the first signal you send to your body that it no longer needs to protect itself from harm. It can return to function, to strength, to clarity. But the second step, it's nourishment. The kind that rebuilds muscle fibers, replenishes minerals, restores your mitochondria. The kind of nourishment that tells your nervous system, we're safe again. In place of that muffin or cereal, consider a breakfast of eggs, rich in choline, B vitamins, and complete protein. Add a side of sautéed kale or spinach, foods high in magnesium and potassium, nutrients critical to muscle contractions and nerve signaling. Add a spoonful of avocado or olive oil, giving your brain the healthy fats it's been starving for. Each bite tells your cells, I remember what strength feels like. Let's return to it. And hydration. Do not underestimate the quiet power of water. Plain water, not juice, not soda, just water, maybe with a squeeze of lemon or a dash of sea salt in the morning to support electrolyte balance. Seniors are more prone to dehydration, and even mild dehydration is enough to cause fatigue, dizziness, and yes, weakness. That sense of your body feeling too heavy, your legs too unstable. Sometimes it's not aging, it's lack of water. Something so simple it's often missed. But the final piece is movement. Not intense, punishing workouts. Gentle, consistent, intentional movement. A morning walk, barefoot in the grass if you can. Stretching at the sink while the kettle boils. Resistance bands while listening to your favorite music. Movement signals life. And, when paired with the removal of sugar, the inflammation falls. The brain fog lifts. The energy returns. Slowly at first, then steadily. Take Roger, 79 years old, former accountant, a man who had given up on stairs. One step feels like a mountain, he said. His wife had to help him in and out of the car. We took out sugar, replaced it with whole, slow-burning fuel, introduced a short daily walk, 10 minutes, that's all. Today, Roger walks a mile, without pain, without pause. He cooks his breakfast now, scrambles his eggs, toasts his sprouted bread, smiles again. His strength didn't come from a pill. It came from subtraction. And then, from consistency. From the decision to stop eating what hurt him, to stop believing weakness was his fate, and to start feeding himself what his body was whispering for. You have that same decision in front of you, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just tomorrow morning, choose something else. Swap out the pastry. Skip the sugary creamer. Start your day with something real, something whole, something that feels like life, not a crash waiting to happen. Your muscles remember how to be strong. Your heart remembers how to beat with calm rhythm. Your bones remember how to carry you. Your mind, that beautiful, wise, experienced mind, remembers who you are. You are not too far gone. You are not broken. You are simply waiting for the noise to clear so your body can return to what it always knew. Strength, clarity, balance, confidence. This is not just about food. This is about dignity. This is about waking up tomorrow and walking to your kitchen like it's the starting line of your second act. A kitchen filled not with traps, but with tools. Tools that rebuild you from the inside out. And the first tool is choice. So make that choice. Say no to the sugar that sedates your energy and steals your stability. Say yes to protein, to fiber, to hydration, to your body's innate design to repair. Because the truth is, you are not fragile. You are rebuilding, and you are not old. You are entering your most intentional years, and you are not done. You are just getting started. Let that sink in. Tomorrow morning, let your first action be an act of power. Open your eyes, breathe deeply, stand tall, walk to your kitchen, and make a choice that says, I am still here, I am still strong, and I am taking my life back, one breakfast at a time. Because you deserve to feel strong again, and your body is just waiting for the signal. Share this with someone you love, someone who's been waking up tired, someone who needs to hear that change is possible, that healing is real. Let this be the first step in a movement. A generation of seniors choosing to age with strength, with truth, and with pride. You're not too late. You're right on time. And your strongest days, they begin tomorrow morning.